Greatsword is the ultimate dopamine-inducing weapon in Monster Hunter Wilds, and after today, you're going to be well on your way to curing that rampant depression that's cursed you for God knows how many years. This will be a 2-in-1 guide with all the info you need to get you up to snuff on the core gameplay loop, as well as a few S-tier builds to take on even the baddest of baddies in Wilds. I'm looking at you, arch-tempered arkveld. My name is Risked, and this is Greatsword. Greatsword is very flexible as of title update 4.5, and there's a plethora of strong options out there. We'll start out with a Gogma Artian weapon since it's likely what you're trying to use, and you have some real options to consider. You'll actually want affinity focus when making your Greatsword, which seems a little odd, but when the difference in critting and not critting is like 600 damage on some monsters, it starts to make a little more sense. Your rolls can be one of a few different things, but you typically want your second roll to be Lord Soul. Soul of the Dark Knight is probably going to be your best in slot, but Gore's Tyranny and even Scorcher are all perfectly valid contenders, and don't change the way to play all that much. For your reinforcements, you're ideally looking for 4 attack and 1 sharpness, but depending on the set, an affinity roll may also be useful to reach the cap, so don't feel too pressured chasing perfection. Besides, you already found me. For the first set, I have Gore on my Gogma Greatsword, so I'm going to show off that one first, since after 200 plus rolls, Soul of the Dark Knight still eludes me, and I simply cannot be asked to keep rolling this thing. I run an attack jewel in the weapon, along with critical boost for those spicy, extra powerful crits, and focus to top it off. Focus is mandatory, since it speeds up your charge rate on attacks. Greatsword is slow, so this effectively is a damage boost, because more attacks equals more better. I run the Bale helmet and gloves to get the Bale set effect, as well as the Jindahad Shark Mail and Shark Coil for Lord Soul. This gives you all 5 levels of Agitator, and you already know that I love capitalizing on a monster being all pissed off and angry. For the Pantaloons, we're going for the Gore Greaves to finish off our Gore set effect. I'll throw the gems up on screen so you can just follow along while I yap. As for the Talisman, we'll be running something with attack boost too ideally, but feel free to make this comfy since it's your build after all. I really like earplugs on Greatsword, but it's worth noting that you can both block and shoulder tackle through roars if you're a real gamer. For this next set, I want to preface by saying it's really good without even having to get Lord Soul. This only uses Soul of the Dark Knight, so it's extremely easy to put together if you're having trouble like I did getting your God roll. Having Lord Soul opens up a ton of different build variety, but being that you likely clicked on this video as somewhat of a beginner, I feel like this was the best one to showcase. For weapon gems, we'll be running an attack jewel, critical boost, and the ever mandatory focus jewel with whatever secondary you like the most, but I chose handicraft. You can throw element here if you'd like for a little extra damage, as it takes a few hits on Greatsword to deplete your sharpness to the point that you can't just sharpen when following a monster to a new area. We'll be running 2-piece Jindahad in the helmet and the Shark Greaves for Jindahad's Revolt, which gives you a juicy plus 25 raw attack on a power clash, being pinned, or recovering from a bind. This doesn't work against all monsters, but it works versus a lot of in-game matchups, so I'm going to call it worth. We'll run Bale Gauntlets to get you the 2-piece Bale set effect coupled with your Gogma roll, which gives you extra damage on your level 3 charged attacks. Then finish it off with the new arkveld chest piece and somewhat of a curveball, the Laggy Coil. Here's the gems, which we chose for the exact same reason as we chose them before. So I'll leave this up for a minute while I do my sick, very well thought out transition to the next set. But if you want to just go ahead and pause here, that works too. As for the Talisman, an attack boost 2 charm and something else is basically what you're going to want here. Now if you only manage Rathalos' Flare and Lord Soul, you can rock this set instead. Same jewels on our weapon cause change is scary and hard, but our armor is very different. We're running the G Rathalos helm to get our Scorcher set bonus, new Udra chest for the juicy counter strike that it comes with, an utterly sensual double 3 gem slot. We finish off Lord Soul with the Raidau Sand Coil, and throw Bale into our gloves and calico cut pants slot to reap the Soul of the Dark Knight set bonus. Once again for gems, I'll yap through this while you take a gander, but the reasoning stays mostly the same. As for Talisman, also more of the same. We're really just choosing this attack boost to finish it off for the level 5, so if you're more interested in being comfy, always feel free to tailor the build for you. I'm here for the blueprints, but it's your set, so make it your own, man. For instance, some folks prefer to run a Talisman with support on it, which allows you to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the video. And how could I not talk about the brand new Shatterseal Greatsword that came with title update 4.5? This thing is a blast to use. It comes with a new set effect, which gives you this sick glass shatter animation, but essentially gives you the Bale set effect again. So you just end up getting a ton of free damage out of it. Is it strictly better than a Gogma set? No, but it looks neat, and the animation go burr, so we're sending it. For the weapon gem slots, we're going to run crit till the cows come home, and by the way, tell your sister I said hello when she gets there. We run full critical boost and critical eye since affinity is a little harder to get on this set. No need to slot focus since it comes on the Greatsword by default, and honestly, I cannot tell you how nice it feels to not have to send 3,000 rerolls on a weapon just to be able to craft what you need, and it just work. I miss those days. We still run the 2-piece Bale for our skirt, pants, leggings, fishnets, whatever makes you feel bonita, but we run the arkveld pieces in the helmet and gloves for Arkveld's hunger, and the new Udra chest rounds out Lord Soul while also providing some counter-strike and lovely gem slots to work with. Now here's the gems while I talk about the talisman. The Agitator crafted talisman is great here and takes out basically all of the RNG for this set, but technically the peak form uses that same attack level 2 charm from before, and you replace a gem up top with an attack gem. So now that we have some builds to choose from, get your little tookus over to the train arena. If you're only here for the builds, I hope you got what you needed, and I appreciate you sticking around. Now, you may have the sickest threads and the hottest brands on the block, but it's all for nothing if you can't put it to good use. Cue how the to play this thing section of the video. Alright, now that you're in the train arena, it's time to get yourself accustomed to the feel of this weapon, because I'm not gonna lie, it is slow, and you'll want to get a feel for the timings before you rush straight into all the 10-star madness Capcom has just released into the Forbidden Lands. Your bread and butter is going to be your charge/slash combo, which can be achieved by holding down the Y or triangle and waiting until your hunter glows red with excitement. You can do this 3 times in succession, with the final hit being your true charge slash, which deals an absolute truckload of damage if it connects. Being that the 3rd hit is your highest damage, don't be afraid to only go for the first charge level on the first 2 hits if you think you'll only have enough time to get into one big charge at the end. Some damage is better than no damage, and no damage is better than you taking damage standing there like a regular Stevie Wonder getting rocked by a monster, just charging your little heart out. You can also perform a shoulder tackle between hits, which grants you invincibility frames and take you to the next charge level. This is super useful, and I highly recommend getting used to inputting this before you take on a real hunt. While holding Y down to charge, you can press B at any point to do the shoulder check. It does a small amount of damage and actually has a tiny amount of stun built in, so technically if you do this enough times on a monster's head, you can actually net a knockdown. It's also just a hair faster than letting each attack go through to continue your combo, so if you're super strapped on time, this can be a good option to just get in your big hit and dipski. The beauty of the Greatsword is that even though it's slow, you don't have to commit to anything, which if you're anything like me is perfect because commitment is horrifying and women are scary. Pressing B or circle will perform a wide slash, which doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but you can continue a combo out of it, and it's useful for repositioning just a bit. Not a whole lot to say here, but it is there. Your next attack, and in my opinion, the one reason to play Greatsword, and why it feels so incredible to use, is the Y plus B charged upward slash. It does decent damage, and it is its own move, no combos here. But this is your attack to offset monsters. Any charge level can accomplish this, with higher levels obviously doing more damage, but the real advantage is that since it can be charged at all, you can hold it for the perfect opportunity to strike. It is worth noting, however, there is a small internal cooldown on this, so if you do miss, you'll want to roll out of it and try again, as attempting to go straight back into the same move will just net you a wide slash, and that's the perfect opportunity to get your cheeks caved in. As a follow-up, Greatsword is kind of just the jack of all trades, and if you can't offset, it's no sweat because you can just block by holding right trigger or R2. And that means you can power clash on this thing. And if that isn't the coolest thing in the entire game, then I just don't know what is. Seriously, this is like crack. I get visibly depressed when someone else takes my precious power clash, and you'll understand why soon enough. And not to be underestimated is focus mode. This is new in Wilds, but by this point you likely already know all about it now that we're a year into the game and my slow ass is just now making this video, but it's a huge buff to Greatsword, more so than some other weapons. In previous titles, if the monster moved, you just kinda canceled your combo and tried again, which felt bad and sad and not very chill. But in Wilds, if the monster moves, you just put him in your crosshairs and become a heat-seeking missile of death. It's also super useful for waking up monsters for the saucy double damage on that first hit. The first swing of your true charge slash doesn't do much damage, but the second part absolutely wrecks. You can see here that I go through the first 2 stages of the combo away from the monster, then let the first part of the slash miss. swinging my camera over in focus mode to the monster for the last part so you don't waste your precious damage multiplier hitting a 200 instead of what could easily be over 2,000 on some monsters. And when that number pops up on your screen, you're going to need a new pair of shorts. It is divine. And last but certainly not least, the strongest move on Greatsword, which is the kick. That's right, you can kick monsters. It actually does basically no damage, but it's the ultimate disrespect, and getting into a monster's head is half the battle. It's a good idea to kind of practice this for a few minutes to get a feel for how everything is going to fit together. And even talk to this lonely little cat over here to switch the training dummy to kill mode so you can practice shoulder checking and offsetting before you go into a real hunt. With all of this information at your greasy yet likely succulent fingertips, I have no doubt you'll be pumping numbers in no time flat. So, there you have it folks, short and sweet. I appreciate you hanging out, and I'd love to see you back again next time, so be sure to drop a comment for whatever weapon or guide or topic you'd like to see next, and give me some purpose in my life. If you have any questions that you can't bear to leave for eternity in the comments, ask them over on my Twitch, link in the description. Until next time, hunters, stay classy and risked out.